This is CityCast Seattle. I'm Jane C. Hu, and here's what Seattle's talking about. One of my favorite things about hosting CityCast Seattle is digging into city history and asking my own burning questions about Seattle. On today's episode, we're revisiting 3 of my favorite segments over the last couple of months. First, you'll hear from contributor Brett Hamil and creative producer Sam J. Leeds discussing whether it's time to retire the Space Needle as a symbol of the city and adopt different iconography. Then, creative producer Liam Billingham and our social media maven Ben Keenan talk about how to survive the big dark. And last but not least, contributors Eula Scott Bynoe and Lex Vaughn answer a listener question about the origins of the Seattle dog. Hope you enjoy the episode. All right, Brett, we love it when our contributors have a thing that they're dying to talk about. And as I understand it, you have this new proposal that we need to change Seattle iconography. So, Brett, get into it. Let her rip. What are your thoughts on this?
Let's hear it.
It's a simple point of view. We can no longer let the Space Needle be the sole icon of Seattle. It's old, it's tired, it's played out, it's so ubiquitous as to seem corny at this point.
Damn, Brett.
It has become shorthand. Yeah, it's like, here's Seattle.
For
It's
Seattle.
the Space Needle. Yeah.
Let's walk it back a little. The Space Needle is not a publicly owned landmark. It's a privately owned trademark owned by a bunch of big Republican donors who jealously guard the use of it. So if you want to include the Space Needle in a t-shirt or a, professional sports team logo or whatever, it has to include the surrounding skyline with it. You cannot use just the Space Needle as an image. And They are constantly scouring the internet for anyone misusing their trademark. We've got to do better. We've got to come up with something else. It's become totally played out. Yes, it is like an obvious and instant signifier of Seattle, but we're a different city now. This monument was built for the 1962 World Fair to represent this sort of Jetsons-esque era. It's now retro-futuristic. It's come around the bend. Now it's this thing it's actually kind of retro. That's not what things ended up looking like in the 2000s. I just think we got to try harder. We have to make that effort. But the problem is it's hard, right?
Yeah. I mean, what other things make you all think of Seattle? Like, I'm looking at actually our CityCast logo for CityCast Seattle, and it includes the troll. It does include the Space Needle. It includes Tahoma or Rainier, the public market sign, the Ferris wheel, a ferry, an orca. But I don't know. Do you have any new proposals for what iconography we should adopt instead?
I like all those other ones you listed. I think the orca is a great one. People love orcas. They're fascinating apex predators that have no natural enemies and mess with sharks and eat their livers, but also they're like, family loving, multi-generational matriarchal society animals. I mean, they're great.
And I learned this weekend, actually, that Sound Transit's mascot is an orca, which makes sense, orca card, right? And the little orca is named Boop, like how you boop onto the light rail. I somehow had missed this, and
I had no idea.
So they are adopting that iconography, which I love, and more of that, please.
They need to front page that a lot more. Seattle is notorious for fumbling the bag when it comes to rollouts of new iconography. I'm going to just take you back to when we were going to get an NHL team. Everyone I knew was incredibly excited for them to be called the Seattle Freeze.
Yeah, right? Such a good name.
And of course, what did they go with? The Kraken, which has no real regional significance to Seattle. And then they took it one step farther by making their mascot this just weird looking guy named Bowie.
Bowie.
Bowie is the most Rizless mascot you could possibly imagine. And the Kraken is actually kind of boring. So we fumbled the bag there.
I want to see them do more with Bowie. I feel like there are opportunities, and maybe Bowie will develop more lore around Bowie as time goes on. I want to love the Kraken. I've been to a few games. I'm a big hockey person. I feel like, it takes a few years for a franchise to kind of find their fan base and like figure out the story, but hopefully they'll get there.
I just think that Bowie needs some sort of a backstory or some fatal flaw or side gig or something. Like, Gritty, the mascot, is reputed to be Antifa, right?
But we can't just have
like
Bowie steal Gritty's deal. He needs his own deal.
What I'm hearing is that Bowie needs a second job.
Yes, exactly. That's what I was working towards.
Bowie is what, like an artisan soap maker, maybe? Like, I don't know.
I don't know if you guys knew this, but I learned when I was doing some research for this today that in 2003, the city council designated the great blue heron as our official city bird. And I would like to propose some great blue heron merch because I don't know. I think Seattleites love a bird. Maybe it's just my age group, but all of my friends who have hit 30 are now into birding. And so I think the great blue heron would do numbers. So I don't know. I think we should lean into sort of our natural environment a little bit more for inspiration. I also think the salmonberry would do really well. So those are some of my proposals that I think the nature girlies could really get into.
I love that. It's true. Every time I've ever seen a heron out in the world, everyone is like kind of weirdly crowded around. Like you can always tell that there's something cool going on because everyone has stopped. And I mean, okay, so I know that for a while, there was a couple of guys who ran something called the Seattle Department of Design. I don't think they're making stuff anymore, but they had merch that reimagined what Seattle merch could look like. Like they had designed a Seattle City Light shirt, a Seattle Parks and Rec shirt, a blanket with the Seattle Park System rainbow sign, which I wish I could purchase now. And I know like Sound Transit has released some merch as well. Okay, so stuff with like salmon berries on it would be amazing. What other things are kind of undercovered right now?
The light rail is an obvious one. It's already got its own iconography and distinct shape. The view of Rainier, we have lots of lakes. It's a city surrounded by lakes, so water should have some role in there. Coffee culture, just I think a great icon would be just the coffee lid you get on a to-go cup.
I do wonder also who should be in charge of this merch. Like, obviously, people can pop up and do their own thing, make money off of it. But I also would love to see the city take it on because it seems like it would be a great revenue source. I'm thinking about the situation that happened down in San Francisco where Bagoo, the company, released all this BART merch. And it turned out BART wasn't involved with it, and people were a little upset that a company was, making money off of the iconography of a city resource. It seems like that's maybe ended amicably. It seems like maybe they're collaborating now. But the other part of me is wondering whether merch sold by the city would take away some of the cool factor. We as Seattleites who are, I think, by nature a little anti-authoritarian are like, we want to get it from an independent maker. I don't know. I'm curious what you all think about how receptive Seattleites would be to city-sponsored merch.
I think the Seattle Department of Design, obviously they weren't city affiliated, but I think they had the right idea with sort of going with vintage design. And I think if the city of Seattle unearthed vintage design from previous eras of the city, it would do really well, and it wouldn't have that sort of natural uncool factor that comes with anything new that the city tries to put out. So if I were them, I would go with, what is the vintage design that they can pull from that people are going to be excited to wear and rock.
The owners of the Space Needle know this. They give the Space Needle like a retro paint job every, periodically. I think that we definitely should lean more into Sasquatch because
as a culture,
if you go down to Northern California, they play it up so hard, and they're like that. We're in the region too. Like
Sasquatch is here for sure.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Well, if you're listening and you know of some great Seattle merch that we have not talked about, please let us know. You can send an email to seattle@citycast.fm. Would love any tips you all have. And all right, let's take a quick break. I've been making a point of getting out and visiting or revisiting spots that I don't go to every day in town. So this weekend, a friend and I did a little downtown outing, like we got lunch in Pioneer Square, and then we made our way to the Seattle Art Museum, one of Sam's 3 locations. Sam's collection is wonderfully curated. I've always appreciated how much care they've put into giving museum goers context about artists and how their work represents a moment in history. And right now they've got this special exhibit that I feel like really exemplifies that. It's called Farm to Table, and it explores the role of French Impressionist art in capturing the late 1800s culinary scene in France. There were pieces by well-known artists like Monet and Renoir, but the pieces that spoke to me the most were by some lesser-known artists that depicted like farming, still lifes of food spreads, or tables of people eating. And it got me thinking about how what we eat, with whom we dine, and where that food comes from is always a reflection of wealth, class, and the current moment. Anyway, I highly recommend going to check it out. You can learn more about the exhibit and get tickets at visitsam.org/farm. Hey Liam, what are you doing for New Year's?
Hi, Jane. I haven't narrowed it down yet, but I'm thinking a nice dinner, but I need some activity to occupy my rambunctious children.
Ooh, okay, I have just the thing for you. I feel like I'm so bad about making plans in advance, and so I just end up like paying a ridiculous amount of money to get into a bar.
Yes.
But I heard that Argosy is doing New Year's Eve cruises, and they have one that is an all-ages fireworks cruise. It leaves from either the waterfront downtown or South Lake Union. And they also, I guess if you want to leave your kids at home, there's a 21 plus party cruise.
Sign me up for that one. That sounds great.
Yeah, sounds like a fun way to ring in the new year, right?
It does.
All right, well, there are limited seats for New Year's Eve sailings, so you can book on argosycruises.com if you want to firm up your plans before December 30th. It's apple season here in Washington, and there's no better time to go check out Seattle Cider Company, which uses fresh-pressed Washington apples, never from concentrate, in their ciders. They're a local gem based in SoDo who have been making craft cider since 2013. Bring the whole family and go visit their all-ages tap room, which features rotating small batch and limited release ciders. They've currently got a vivid light cider line, with new flavors like tart apple, juicy pear, bright cherry, fresh peach, wild blueberry, and ripe plum. You can also pick up a 6 or 12 pack to go. Personally, I'm going to pick up some cans of the bright cherry to take to my next board game night with friends. Find Seattle Cider on the web at seattlecidercompany.com to check out the cider lineup and view upcoming taproom events. You can also use their cider finder to find local bars, restaurants, and grocery stores that sell Seattle cider. So, Ben, what are folks talking about on social right now?
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of people moving to Seattle. There are, I think the stat, 66% of the people living in Seattle actually aren't even from the state of Washington. So there's been a lot of questions as people move here to either start school or a lot of transplants for jobs with the return to office mandates. Just saying, what is there to even do in Seattle? Like, you guys are cold and wet all the time. Like, what do you do? What is there to do? And it actually got me thinking, Liam, like, I'm going to put you a little bit on the spot here. You're new. Have you found anything to do? Like, are you just sitting at home?
Well, I mean, I work from home, so there's that part of it too, which is very nice. But sometimes, like, I'll be driving to pick up my children and I'll be like, oh, I wonder what's going on over here. So in terms of things that I've found to do, I mean, I'm a big movie guy, so I'll check out the movie theaters here. I've been to Scarecrow Video, the video store, a bunch of times. Gone out to eat. I bring my kids to pastry shops in the morning. So like a lot of my life and social stuff revolves around food, coffee, and the movies. And I've done pretty well in that regard. But there are times where I'll be at home and I'll be like, what's everyone doing?
The people aren't all sitting inside. The people are out.
However, I think it's fair to say that if you describe a place, this is what I say to my kids all the time. They're like, I'm so bored. And it's like, well, that's your problem because you're boring. If you're bored, you're boring.
Yeah. And Seattle isn't boring. And so, you're boring.
Thank
so
you,
true.
Ben.
So
finally,
true.
someone said it.
You gotta just go out and find something to do. Well, Ben, you're like a man about town. What have you been up to in the evenings?
Yeah, I mean, there's so much to do in Seattle, right? And I know a lot of it requires a little bit of planning. You can't necessarily be as spontaneous just because tickets must be purchased and plans must be made, and parking, which we don't have enough of. There's a whole assortment of things, right? Like last week, there was the Pioneer Square Art Walk, which got really, really popular over the summer. People were showing up and showing out. You probably saw some of the conversations about like, well, this isn't a fashion show, like save your fashion for somewhere else. Like that really put a spotlight on the fact that people in Seattle are trying to dress up and go out and do things and meet people. That is every week, or not every week, every month. First Thursday, people are doing that and planning.
It's an art walk?
Yep, it's the art walk. It is a gallery display, basically. All of the local art galleries down in Pioneer Square open up. They show different art installations that are coming in, whether it be from anybody nationally, internationally, or Pacific Northwest specific. It all depends on the gallery.
Oh.
They have DJs. There is live music, live bands. There's a lot of local vendors who do like jewelry making and, different pottery. People will sell soaps and wares. Think of it as a giant farmer's market in and around a bunch of art galleries.
That sounds great.
It's fantastic. If you miss the Pioneer Square one, most neighborhoods actually have an art walk on a different night. So if you look at the art walk calendars online, every neighborhood has a variety of this. So you just have to find the one that really fits your style. But outside of that, there's all sorts of events that just pop up everywhere. We've got a ton of small venues. There's always something going on that's live, whether it be the arts or, a gallery showing. There's always something popping up. And I think if you're able to book it a couple weeks in advance, that's kind of what gets you out of your house, is saying, I have plans. I have to drag myself out even if I don't want to because it's dark and wet.
This was my question. What are your guys, I'll be honest, I'm usually done with my life and work and family stuff by 8 o'clock. And we had a conversation the other day about surviving the big dark. I'm not carrying around a portable sad light to motivate me to walk through the street. So how do you guys hype yourself out to leave the house when it's pitch black at 7:45?
All right, I did that the other night. Actually, I had gone to something, come home, and then at 9 p.m. went out again and kind of had a moment of I don't know what I'm doing. Why am I doing this? But I had made a plan. So I was like, I'm going to go.
Yeah, made the commitment.
I mean, I think it's just you commit. I think honestly, the more of an acquaintance it is that you are going out to meet, or if you've put down money, those are things that will really convince you to go. I really like what Ben had to say about all of those events, but I've also found that trying to be a regular somewhere, or taking a class and putting down money to have to be in the same place, every Wednesday night or something like that, or volunteering every Thursday night, that is often what gets me out of the house, because I can kind of expect that it's coming and just know that I'm likely to see some of the same people again too, especially if you're I don't know that many people in town yet.
It takes some of the anxiety out of it, because you're I sort of know what to expect.
Totally. It's tough, as Seattle is a fairly secular city, and a lot of major cities in the US are now, without the community necessarily of a faith-based organization.
Yeah.
Folks are really looking for community in other places. And I feel often where I've seen that is gyms, or run club, or really any kind of recurring event where you're likely to see the same people over and over again and try and build friendships and relationships.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, signing something that feels like a longer term commitment than just a random event.
I have a lot of friends that signed up for dance classes.
Dance church.
Oh,
sorry.
Do you know
Is that a code word?
No.
Did you just turn on an assassin somewhere by saying those two words together? Dance, church, crocodile.
Actually,
monkey.
wait, Liam, I know you've had this whole series of having to guess Seattle things. What do you think dance church is?
I mean, Jane, it has to be a church where you dance. I don't know what else. Am I wrong?
I mean, yeah, I guess that is kind of the vibe. It's at I think it started being at Sundays at 9 or 10 or 11 in the morning, and people just go and dance their faces off, and it's super fun.
Oh, that's nice. It's early in the day. I feel like the oldest person that's ever lived right now, guys. I feel so old. I used to know how to party. You're allowed to do
morning stuff too. It doesn't have to be a 9 p.m. you go out necessarily. I mean, I don't know your life, but it could be a 6 a.m. and you go The climbing gym that I go to, like, there are a lot of regulars who come in right at 6 when they open, and that is a routine, and they all know each other because they all show up at the same time.
I think the community, finding something where you're building a community and you see people regularly is a good idea. And it kind of melts that Seattle freeze.
It melts that freeze.
That's what we're doing here.
All right. Well, Liam, I believe in you. You should go.
Thanks, Jane.
This week, we got a text from Natasha in Capitol Hill who says, "Hi, I have a question for your mystery series. When/how/why did cream cheese, for example, the Seattle dog, become a defining feature of Seattle cuisine? Nothing about it screams Seattle to me, and the most known brand bears the name of an entirely different city. Also, it's gross. Thanks."
Gross. Bomb. You don't like jalapenos? That's what you're saying. You're saying I tried it with just cream cheese and it was too bland.
Eula, define a Seattle dog. It sounds like you are in the know.
Oh, yeah. So Seattle dog is a hot dog with cream cheese on it, grilled onions, and jalapeno. It's like a real meal. Like you're trying to get like a,
It's got everything
something
in it.
sturdy on your stomach.
You will be full.
Yeah. And that is the goal.
So wait, have you all had one?
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Lex.
I only recently had one like this year after making fun of it in the Needling because I just always thought it was ridiculous that it had cream cheese in it.
Did you
what are your
like
thoughts?
it?
Do you
Was
like
it
it?
good?
I liked it. I did. I do think the cream cheese is still a bit much. I mean, the hot dog is already packed with so much good stuff, but I mean, it's decadent. It's good. Overall, the cream cheese ends up kind of melting in with everything else.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I still prefer it without the cream cheese.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Do you all know much about the history of the Seattle dog?
I don't.
I read the little article about it, and the guys who had a bagel place, right, was
Yeah.
on the strip in Pioneer Square, and his mindset was, I'm already here during the day doing this, so I'm also going to pull up at night. If I'm pulling up at night, I want to be uniquely myself, so I'm bringing my day business into my night business. But when you guys say that it's not very Seattle at all, there was a time where bagels and lox was such a big thing in the Pacific Northwest, like huge, where I can understand somebody saying, well, you guys aren't big, you guys aren't the bagel capital, but salmon is our jam.
Yeah.
Right? And
True.
so salmon, bagels, lox, I can see where the stream led.
So, yes, Eula, you mentioned the bagel guy. His name is Hadley Long, and he moved to Seattle in the 80s to try and make it as like a bagel guy.
Huh.
But it turns out that when he started his bagel place, he had started selling these Bialy sticks where he accidentally kind of created the Seattle dog by making a bagel dog with cream cheese. He said at the time he didn't want to be a hot dog guy. He wanted to be the bagel man. And he ended up selling hundreds of these bagel dogs. People got super excited about them. He would always notice that the cream cheese would make the hot dog slide out of the bun as it melted, as you were saying, Lex. So there was one guy who called the cream cheese glue, and he would always just say, I want extra glue. So he started putting it on both sides of the Bialy stick, and people just loved it. And they started buying all these up. And as there were imitators, because Bialys were hard to get a hold of, people just started using hot dog buns instead. And that is how the Seattle dog was born. I have also wondered, and I couldn't find anything about this, if the Seattle roll, like the sushi roll, which also often contains cream cheese, was an offshoot of all of that.
Probably.
But I don't know if you all have ever had a Seattle roll. I think it's usually like smoked salmon and cream cheese in a sushi roll.
Yeah, I mean, it must be the marriage of it for sure. But, the irony is, as a person from Seattle, like multi-generational, there's never been a barbecue I went to where anybody had cream cheese.
Yeah, I didn't
Not
grow up
once.
with cream cheese a lot. I grew up in a primarily like non-white neighborhood in Southern California, and I think cream cheese is just not majorly on the cuisine scene. It's
Not
a
thing.
white thing. It's pretty white, right? So I mean,
Yeah,
it
Seattle's
makes,
pretty white.
It makes sense from a Seattle perspective from that angle.
Yeah.
Like, of course,
it's a very
it has
white place.
cream cheese in it. It's
It kind of makes sense. I grew up in the South where cream cheese is put in like so many different things that you don't think about it being in. But I'm not sure exactly how Philadelphia cream cheese became such a staple of Seattle besides the Seattle dog. And it seems like maybe people just liked that texture and the little bit of extra creaminess and tang that it adds to whatever it's added to. So the Seattle dog boom apparently took off around the time that the Mariners were doing really well in like the early 2000s when people were all down watching games.
It got solidified with good vibes.
Yes.
Good
like
memories.
You have like your 6 beers at the baseball game. You come out, you're like, sure, I'll have a hot dog with cream cheese in it. And here's a fun fact. Apparently, to keep up with demand, some of the people who were selling Seattle dogs were like, oh God, we're going to need a new way to dispense all of this cream cheese. So this one guy started using a caulking gun to dispense the cream cheese.
It goes with the glue. Just call it glue.
It goes with the glue. Just put it in there.
I think that's hilarious.
And that reminds me of how when Dick's used to make their own tartar, they use almost like a caulking gun to fill the tartar. Dick's was my first job. I'm very Seattle, Lex.
Dang.
It's going to get on your nerves.
Check all the boxes up.
I mean, people who know, but it was like this tube that you'd insert into this caulk gun, and then you'd shoot the tartar sauce in.
Innovation.
I have to say, like, in favor of the Seattle dog, which is, it like, it was good. I just thought it was so decadent. I was like, wow, you really have to be like on an empty stomach or there's no room for this, this amount of calories. But I think, I mean, a lot of cities like to have their like certain kind of hot dog. And as far as that goes, like there are cities that have way worse, like hot dogs. You know, like
Chicago.
what?
Oh, say more.
First of all, Chicago, what is it? Just like celery salt?
They put relish. They put like fresh tomatoes chopped up on a hot dog. And it's like,
But you know what was even
doing this.
more disappointing? The most disappointing like city dog thing? I went to Berlin and heard that like, oh, they have curry hot dogs. I was expecting some like really cool curry hot dog thing. And it was literally just regular hot dog with ketchup and then like curry powder sprinkled on it. And I was like, give me a break.
I imagine that that's born of the same circumstances where it's like you just got out of some club where you've danced for 16 hours and you just need some sustenance, and that could theoretically be the best thing you've ever had.
Like when people are drunk in this city, what are they willing to eat? This.
Yeah. Convenience. And you can fall asleep with it in your hand. There's such a convenience to like eating something you can eat while laying down. Oh, it's amazing. I would love it if Costco would claim it, right? Because Costco is a Northwest brand, and those $1.50 hot dogs go a long way, but they're never properly dressed, in my opinion. And the way you keep using the word decadent, Lex, I'm like, man, I wish Costco would just pull out a tub of cream cheese and some jalapenos for me to put on those $1.50 dogs.
I hope they're listening. And you all need to get your caulking gun full of cream cheese, and then Eula's going to pull up and order your hot dog.
You know, the one thing too that made me think of, Jane, before you wrap, is that the one thing that is from Seattle that I do think is amazing, that is the Cinnabon. I don't know if you guys know, but Cinnabon is from
Seattle.
It's from the SeaTac Mall.
Oh, that makes
It was
sense.
first created up here.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And that is something I can get behind. Like if we're going to talk about the person who wrote in Natasha, I understand that you're like, well, what is Seattle? I don't like the Seattle dog. And you're looking for something delicious. Get a Cinnabon. Cinnabons are bomb every day of the week.
Oh, man.
You got to go to a mall to get one, but delicioso.
I feel like whenever I'm at a Cinnabon is when I am at rock bottom at some airport. Like it's never going well for me if I'm at the airport.
Things are this
Cinnabon,
bad.
like,
I will give myself this treat.
wait, don't Cinnabons have cream cheese icing though, or is it just regular icing?
that part. Let's go with that.
It
I don't
feels
know.
like there's still a cream cheese tie-in here, but maybe some further investigation is necessary since we've uncovered the Seattle dog part of the cream cheese lore, but I feel like there's still more to explore. But thank you, Natasha, for your question. If we have more for you, we'll definitely let you know. And that's all for today's show. Let us know what you want us to look into in the new year. Send an email to seattle@citycast.fm, or you can leave us a voicemail at 206-880-3931. And remember, you can always get more local news and events delivered right to your inbox by subscribing to our newsletter. Just go to seattle.citycast.fm. Until next time, see ya, Seattle.